the goddamn news? Oh, and real quick, you like P5, you just didn't vibe with with many party members. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. The P4 cast was simply superior to me. Look, I like the doctor. Teacher was okay. Didn't like Anne. Didn't like Ryuji. Didn't like the artist kid. I liked your foster uncle guy. Who's that autistic girl? I liked her. The shut-in. Kawakami was sublime. Oh yeah, I like the politician actually. No good Torah, right? I like the politician guy and his whole story. Sun Arcana, yeah. I did not like the talking cat, but it wasn't. I mean, Teddy was worse, so that's a point for P5, right? The talking cat, yeah, the talking cat. What was it? What was its name? It fucked me up because it had a female voice actor, but then it kept calling itself him. And my brain wasn't able to put it into a category, and it annoyed me. What the fuck was its name? Morgana, that's it. And it had a girl name. Fuck you. Pick a lane. Anyway, yeah, Morgana, that's right. But Teddy was so much worse that it's not even in the same universe. Like, Teddy was so bad. Tell you this much, if a talking cat told me to go to bed, I'd put that sucker, yeah, punt it like a football, true. And in Persona 4, there was really only one bad dating option, right? And that was Yukiko, right? That was the only bad choice. Everything else was a good choice. The Taxi 2 stock. Yeah, fuck Yukiko. The worst. The only bad choice. And the worst choice. Anyway, Scourge of Ghyran. It's a cruel world. What's this? Looks like some cunning rules for the Kruleboyz. They had better be dead, sneaky, and well stabby. Lewis, the swamp caller shaman, will find you in, fill you in on all the good stuff. Look at his face. I see you're trying to read this fucking bullshit as well. You're trying to read words written as if they're supposed to be spoken as Kruleboyz as well. And this is the pain that we are now both sharing. Hey, alright.
I ain't doubting you, boss. Sure you is, Rosgib. Scumdrek interrupted the other snatcher boss with a snort. He leant forwards in Slopclaw's saddle, flipping a battered old coin before glancing at his subordinate. Speak up. Only, the other Orruk grunted, looking back at the battle line. Gutrippers and Bolt Boys fought off the mounted Humies attacking them, but their enemies were emboldened, one of them hollering about nearby reinforcements. It made the lads antsy. Some were already looking to slip away. Should we have bet Brocker that we could deal with these gits without the Merc Creepers? You think some no-name tribe can get one over on Scumdrek? The venerable Orruk snorted before giving a whistle. Shapes moved further down the swamp path. The Humie boss turned to hail his newly arrived allies, only to be met with a prowling mob of Kruleboyz, their mounted chief clutching the severed head of a knight. Rosgib blinked. They ain't our lads. Sure they is, Scumdrek said. Brocker never said we couldn't recruit from his lot. What you offer 'em? Brocker's head. Scumdrek grinned. He clapped Rosgib's shoulder before hefting his snatcher stick. Come on, let's go have some fun.
Let's go have some fun. Come on. Bosses, we cringy.
Oh, big.
Oh, thanks for the bits, Sortorius. Didn't realize the Kruleboyz were located half a mile from Bumblyshire and a stroll from Pimbabrook. Yep, that's what the orcs is in this game. Hooligans, the lot of them. How many takes that took? Yeah, he did a good job. These aren't professional voice actors. They're just guys in the office building that they're like, be on camera for a minute or you're fired. And they did a pretty decent job. Ahem. Emerging from the Fawatid marshes of Ghyran are two new battle formations. Swamp Horde Bullies rewards your Kruleboyz with extra attacks when they gang up on an enemy unit. Some might say that was a bit cowardly, but to these orcs, it's a cunning manure. Maroon 5. It's dead sneaky. The hilarious bad-mouthing baiters. Any baiters in the chat? Keys into the dirty tricks rule. So good are these Kruleboyz at hurling insults and other unsavory things that they goad the enemy into making rash moves that inevitably lead to pain and suffering. Goad? Until your next turn, they must attack each Avil, and they can't attack you? The new monstrous traits come in 3 flavors. Meaner, sneakier, and tougher. Mean monsters get a nasty +1 attack, all the better to eat you with. Sneaky monsters can, once per battle, move out of combat in the hero phase without taking any damage, while tough monsters reduce the rend of enemy weapons that hit them. All 3 of those sound good, by the way. Absolute Moonman, thanks for the $10 on YouTube. I click like. Thanks a lot. You know, people all over the world are kind of hard on the British, they say. They clearly need even more hate for whatever that was that I just had to hear. Thanks for the $10. Appreciate it. Last but not least are 2 new War Scrolls. Swamp Boss Scumdrek and the Kill a Boss on Great Nash Tooth. The latter's new abilities are arguably some of the most entertaining in the Scourge of Ghyran series, as they enable him to slink off the battlefield, reappear elsewhere, pounce onto an enemy hero, and drag them off into the undergrowth. Meanwhile, Swamp Boss Scumdrek, already a keen gambler, has taken the wagering with his own boys. Now, when they fail to enact a dirty trick, he gains a chip, a betting disc, if you will, which he can use to influence the outcome of other dirty tricks. Slopclaw has also learned a new skill, thrashing his tail around to knock enemies off their feet, making them easy prey for him and his master. Slopclaw is a gambler, huh? Now, before I get to this, there is some General's Handbook stuff that we were told that we would see today. I'm going to do that before I look at those War Scrolls. General's Handbook fact number 3, all-out attack and all-out defense are 2 of the most used commands in the game. And they're being updated. Updated or downdated? Hopefully downdated. All-out attack is fine, all-out defense is too good. The former confers the same benefits as before, but it comes at a price. -1 to your save. Brutal. Better hope their aggressive advances are enough to finish off the enemy before they hit back. I mean, that's usually the case. Yeah, that's what happens. Most of the time, you don't expect to have anyone swinging back because you've killed them. Now it just means you're punished after you fuck up with your rolls, right? Like, if your rolls are bad, then you're even more so punished for that, right? Which is fine, I think. Depends on how long the -1 to save lasts for, right? If it's just that combat phase, then whatever. If it lasts longer than that, then that's a concern. Meanwhile, the defensive bonus for all-out defense now only applies to a specific attack ability rather than for an entire phase. So you'll need to think very carefully about when to raise your shields. No, you won't. You won't have to think very hard at all. It'll be really obvious, and then you'll still die. Also, hey, any Night Hunt players? What's a penalty to your save? What is that? A penalty to your save? How does that work? Is that subtraction? No, we don't do that here. You roll what it says on the tin. It's not a buff, but everyone else got nerfed, so relatively better off. Thanks all for the Scourge Ghyran GHB. Be sure to return tomorrow. The article will be quite humorous. So, OBR is in the bone. OBR perhaps. This original article suggested the unit size is 5. That would be too cunning even for the Kruleboyz, and the correct unit size is 1. Okay, I don't know what they're talking about there, but it wasn't part of the version that I read. So, Stealth Bone Splitters re-release. Jesus. Laugh tracks. Decent buff for shooting armies. Yeah, I mean, getting -1 to your save doesn't matter at all if you're ranged, right? Conceivably. But again, not a buff, just everything else made slightly worse. I need to know exactly how this thing works before I can say whether it's really good or really bad, but it does feel like a little tiny change. Enhance. Oh, it was for the Cav hero. Okay. Faction Kruleboyz Rule Boys. Swamp Horde Bullies. Once per turn army, any combat phase. Ganging up. Any combat. Once per turn army. Okay, so each combat phase. Pick friendly Kruleboy to be the target. The unit must be in combat with an enemy unit that is in combat with another friendly Kruleboyz unit. Okay, so it has to be two boys, one enemy. Kragnos cannot be picked to be the target. How come? Well, I thought he was cool in every army. Anyway, good work. That's fine. So they could have said in this paragraph, they could have said non-monster Kruleboy, right? If they were afraid of Kragnos. And I think in the past they might have written something like that. But instead they're just like, we just don't want you to use Kragnos. So they just say you can't use that one guy and let you use his whole category if you feel like it instead. I like this better. Fine. Anyway, good work. For the rest of the turn, add one of the attack characters targets melee weapons. But it is one Kruleboy unit. It's not both of the ones in combat. It's one of the two. Right? Pick a friendly Kruleboyz unit to be the target. The unit must be in combat with enemy unit and another friendly Kruleboyz. And then add one to just the target. So one of your two guys gets +1 to their attacks characteristic. And this happens before anyone fights. So on the opponent's turn, you pick one guy to gang up, give him bonus attacks, and that's the one your opponent kills first, so it doesn't do anything. Although there is a little bit of gamesmanship maybe there. On your turn, you know, you just smash, right? So anyway, cool and good. I like it. It is a little awkward on your opponent's turn, but you can kind of play balls and cups with it sometimes. And +1 attacks is just a great buff. And no rolling, no spending CAs or anything. Shit's good. Yeah, not only that, don't forget, you do have Dirtum tricks, which can change the dynamic of that as you see fit. Cool. Yeah, I like it. Ganging up is good. HeyWoah, all of defense, I think it will work like current rules for Space Marines. Yeah, that's probably the case. They like to steal rules from 40k that are bad and put them into AOS. Not that this one is. I've just seen them do it. How does it work? We have strike last for opponent's turn. Yes. Yeah. even better. The targeting one unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks, instead of all attacks in the phase. One weapon, one unit. Because they said they said attack, right? They didn't say weapon profile. Either way, it's fine. It means ganging up on people is better. It's ganging up on people is better than it used to be. And when you gang up on someone, you project a lot of your power into one place, which is generally weak and a little harder to pull off. So you should get something for it. Fair enough. Yeah, it said one attack ability. So that would mean, well, everything's ability keyworded, right? So that would be that the entire unit. Yeah. All the weapons from that thing. Anyway, good shit. A lot more things will die. But that's fine. Anyway, Swamp Horde bullies, good work. Bad-mouthing baiters. Got some videotapes to return. Once per return. Shooting phase. Pick friendly Kruleboy unit to be the insult hurler. The hulking hurler? Pick a visible enemy unit within 18 of it to be the target. A little close. Then make a dirty trick roll. Till the start of your next turn, each time the target uses a move ability and does not end that move closer to the insult hurler than it was at the start of the move, inflict d6 mortal damage on it. Sick. And it is a dirty trick. Brand new dirty trick, huh? Pick a friendly Kruleboy unit to be the... So it doesn't have to be a ranged unit. It just has to be whatever. And this is an interesting way of causing your opponent to have to make a choice between moving in a direction they don't want to and just taking d6 mortals. Okay, this ability is cool and interesting. But I still... Yeah, I would have to play this army. I don't know which dirty tricks you're always using. How many is too many? How quickly it becomes a 5-up? All this other stuff. Giving you a new one to roll for. Like, I like it. I think it's cool. But in the place of an entire sub-faction, I don't know. And a lot of the times your opponent is going to, like, be able to show that they very technically got 1 millimeter closer to you while still going in the direction they were going to anyway. And so even when it works, sometimes it won't work really. I think no. But it's a good idea. It's kind of neat. I just don't know that I'm taking it over, you know, ganging up or something, some other one. If it was just another dirty trick in the bag, then whatever. But monstrous traits. -1 from the rend characteristic of a weapon attacks target this unit. Both ranged and melee. Toughen is great. Love to see it. Add 1 hit rolls for attacks made with the companion weapons, essentially Black Clatterhorn from 2 editions ago. Meanin'. That's okay if you have a fighting monster. I don't know if you do. Your monsters seem to be buff wagons in this army. But maybe not. And Sneaky Un. Once per battle. Can use the normal move or retreat as if it were your movement phase in the enemy hero phase. And it's free. And it doesn't do damage. Potentially really good. I think I would just take Toughen, probably. I think Toughen's probably the choice. And it's a fine choice. It's a fine choice it is. You move your unit towards your archers anyways. However, rather than full moving all, you have some trail behind the nearest guy in the unit closer than before. You don't damage him, yeah. Yeah, there are ways to game it. as the opponent. You love to see monsters' traits back. It's just free. It's absolute free bonuses, and Toughen's a good one. Ganging up, kind of good too. And what about the War Scrolls? Swamp Bouse Scumdrock. Imagine a world where you get a choice between 3 good things that just work. I don't think that's ever happened in 10 years and 30 armies. That there were legitimately 3 good choices inside some heading. Like for artifacts or traits or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Someday they could do it. What does Scumdreck do? Well, he's slow, and he has a bad save, and he doesn't have a ward. So, already not in love with the scum. But he has 15 wounds. Snatch a Stick. Crit Mortal. 5 attacks, 4s and 3s, 1, 2. And 6 attacks, 4s and 2s, 1, 3. So Crit Mortal on both of these, it's 11 attacks. You're going to look for like 1 or 2 6s. Do some mortal slaps. Kind of bad hit rolls. Can you tell me the point cost? 250 for this guy. Rigged the odds. To be fair, slow, bad save, and no ward is basically the whole army. Well, that much is true. The first time you fail a dirty trick roll each turn, give this unit 1 betting disc, please. Each time you make a dirty trick roll for an ability that targets a unit wholly within 12 of this unit, you can spend any number of betting chips. For each betting chip you spend, add 1 to the dirty trick roll, and it's you can, right? So each time you make the roll. So do I see the result of the roll before I add 1 to it? Is my question. I think you do. Because it says each time you make the roll, that means you have rolled the die, right? And then now you're looking at it. And then you can add the 1, which is good. But you can't do it on the same one, because you have to actually fail that roll to get the chip. And if it's failed, then you lost your window of opportunity to add to it, as far as I read this. Anyway, he's interesting that he affects your dirty trick rolls. You really, really wish you had rigged odds on something that wasn't 250 points, though. And a unique named hero. Once per turn, army, any combat, Thrashing Tail. Roll a die if the roll is less than or equal to the number of models in the target unit. For the rest of the turn, each time this unit uses attack, all the attacks target the same enemy unit. Those attacks score crits on 5s instead of 6s. And on companion. Okay, so Thrashing Tail is actually quite the ability. That's actually quite the nice ability. Die roll is less than or equal to the number of models in the target unit. As long as you're fighting an actual unit, this guy kind of crits on 5s for free, which is sort of nice. Each time you make a dirty trick roll for an ability that targets a unit wholly within 12 of this unit. Yeah, that is a downside, isn't it? I don't know all of your dirty tricks. Holy 12 is kind of close too. Yeah. Some of the dirty tricks don't target a unit. You know? Well, maybe they do. Did they target a unit? Are we... You know what? I think. Bum ba bum dum ba bum bum bum. I don't have the thing for this because it's DMCA'd. Oh, and I was about to look at that thing, but that's wrong because that isn't. That's the old one, and the index got updated. Hold on. Extended. Extended. Check the tape. Wow, it's such a long check the tapes. Scrolling, download section. These tapes are really being checked. This fucking website. Downloads, Age of Sigmar. Search downloads. Cruel. Only Scourge Ghyran is shown. Oh, that's because it's because all the orcs are in one fucking faction pack, which is dumb. All right, click download. Looking dun 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 dun. Wait, the jingle. Still looking. The world's longest tape checker. All right, and Iron Jaws happens to be first, scrolling past it. All right. Poof. Kruleboyz. Should be above this. Dirty tricks. Here we go. No. Heroic traits. There we are. All right, we did it. We did it. All right, the first dirty trick is on a 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. 1 per phase. Pick an infantry to be the target. Crits on a 5. That's a good one. That causes your damage for the army. A lethal surprise. Taco Bell. Once per turn army, any charge phase. Pick an enemy unit that charged this turn. And then D3 mortals in addition for there's a turn. They can't do the +1 damage thing. You almost certainly won't be within 12 of that one unless they're charging Scumdrek himself. So that one's probably off the table. Moving phase, sneaking, pick a friendly Kruleboyz unit, 10 or fewer models, not in combat, and then you can teleport. And then noisy racket, pick an enemy unit in combat with any friendly Kruleboyz units to be the target. They have strike last. Once again, you probably won't be wholly within 12 of that. Okay, so the dirty tricks that are rigged shrink from the entire board to just in a holy bubble around scum. And that's very good for venom weapons. Probably not going to be for noisy racket or lethal surprise. And for sneaky, it'll send them places, but it won't get them from one place to another, probably. Depending. And he's a big old liability, right? Slow, bad save, dies to everything. Good against hordes of guys, I guess. Not a wizard. No ward. You do get betting chips no matter where you fail the dirty trick. It's just to use them, it has to be wholly around him. I don't know. I don't know about him. I think maybe. Maybe for just the 2 of them. 250 is a decent chunk, though. General Grizzly, I think it's $2. Use Age of Index so you don't have to scroll. Yeah, I probably should put that in a bookmark, shouldn't I? You know, I want to try to interact with GW's own site if I can, but it's such an obnoxious fucking mess that I should just use Age of Index. You're right. You're right. We do have a cheap hero or a 6++. Okay. I think there's a world where you just save his betting chips on himself to give strike last to anything he fights. That could be true as well. save them all up for just some power turn with him, where every phase you kind of do one, and the one or two you fail, you juice with points. Do you have to use all the juice at the same time? You can spend any number, and it's each time. It's not like prayers. Let's say somehow you've... Because you can farm these chips, right? Because you can just keep rolling and fail 5-ups over and over the first turn, right? Like, you can farm a lot of chips. So, you could potentially, add +2, and then next phase add +2, and then next phase add +3 or something. It's not like they flush out like prayers. So it could be that he is just sitting there counting tokens for half of the game, and then he's just sort of waddling around the battlefield with a bag filled with gold and $signs on it, and ready to make some big play that'll just work. And anyone who fights him is strike last on top of it. I think he's not as bad as he first seems. And it might be fun. It might be fun to try to do it. But there are a lot of limitations. And he is weak. And his price went up. Only the first time per turn? It is the first time. Always reading what I want to read. First time each day. Yeah, so you can't really farm these that much. Never mind, I don't like him. Trash. Next. Kill a boss on Great Gnash Tooth. Fun almost detected, but not quite. You're right. If you're too lucky, he doesn't do anything. If you just pass all your rolls, he can't stop rolling 6s. Then he doesn't do anything, right? Kill a boss on Great Gnash Tooth. He's a 10-10-3. That's more like it. Boss Skula. Anti-hero, +1 rend, crit mortal. +1 rend, kind of weird with crit mortal, but not really. I mean, there's 5 other potential outcomes for the die roll. And then some Gnash Tooth stuff. Prowling Serpopods. This unit is wholly within 6 of the battlefield edge. Remove it. Damn, you have to hug the walls. Ew, ew. Okay. I mean, there are times when important and interesting stuff is happening on the edges, right? Depending on the BTs and stuff. Drag him out. Pick an enemy infantry hero in combat with this unit to be the target. Roll 2d6. This unit can move a distance in inches up to the value of the roll. Then, if possible, your opponent must remove the target from the battlefield, set it up again within 1 inch of it. So if you ever get within 3 inches of an infantry hero, you could kind of escape from that combat and just place them somewhere else and then kill that hero. Literally pull them out from perhaps behind their screen or something like that. Which is a very flavorful rule. Just hurry away with them. With the hero in your Gnash Tooth's mouth. Aside from that, he doesn't do much. So you have to stay by the edges of the board to be able to do that thing. And then once in a blue moon, when you get an infantry hero, you can go running with it, which is funny. Yeah, you can drag Catacross. He's on a big base, but he's technically an infantry hero. Drag Catacross 12 inches to the left, and then he just kills you. That's funny. That's a funny, very good flavor here. Good flavor roll. Yeah, I think what they want you to do, in their head, they're like, look, you're going to slink off the battlefield. You're going to set up behind or like 9 away from the entire enemy army. And then you're going to get into a fight with an infantry hero and run away and kill it. And then next turn, leave the battlefield edge again. That's a very ambitious entire moveset to do. Notice how this thing doesn't have any keywords to it here. You can move before or after. I think, unless there's a game-wide rule about not moving after a setup, which there might be. I think there is, but it's after. I think there is some general rule about not moving after. One should think. But you could move before, maybe. Very flavorful rule. Very flavorful rule. They gave you flavor. That being said, yeah, gang up is good too. And toughen is good. I don't know. Any Kruleboyz players? Are you excited to try these two out? I'm just seeing really flavorful, interesting rules that might not really ever work out and I don't think are good. But it's better to be interesting than good. Right? Or is it? Good point. Kill a boss. How much do you cost? 160. Yeah, I was thinking about a prospector job for him, right? Where he gets you some battle tactic and then fucks off elsewhere. And anything else he does after he gets you your two battle tactics or whatever is just gravy. So you can try funny, stupid stuff with him, and it's not even bad if it doesn't work because he already scored you his points. Does this game have a lack of interesting problem right now? Yes. Better to have more of that? Sure. Pops up behind enemy lines and taunts them. Yeah, with the insult hurla. The hulking insult hurla. Uncritical support to 3-5 minutes before they moved Kill Boss down to 1 unit size. Kruleboyz were the best army in the game. So that was the thing, is it used to be by accident they typed like you could have 5 Kilobosses in the same unit, which is just preposterous. That would be funny. Right. I would do it too. I'd make a unit of 5 of these guys. That's a big unit. That sounds funny, but that must have been the typo that they were talking about. The gang of Genkas. All of them dragging them out. You have to maintain your 350 point 100 wound hero. Yeah. Funny. You know you're going to drag someone's hero away every now and then and have a great time with it. You're never going to have a great time with your a boss that makes your hobgots fight, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Okay. What do I rate this? I I think I rated a solid D, but on a curve, a C. Yeah, all the way up to a C. Because these abilities are fun and interesting. I don't think either of them are good. It depends. We'll see how bad they are. If they're so bad that you don't even play with them, then there was no point to do them, right? But I'm thrilled to see some more flavorful, interesting, fun-looking rules, even if they have to be kind of bad. Tough Fun is great. Monstrous traits are great. Ganging up is very good. Yeah, this is good work. It's not powerful, but it is good work. Day 7. Is it cool or is it art? Neither. Closer to cool. You can do fun stuff like pop up and drag a necromancer off. Might happen to 1 in 10,000 games, but it's funny when it goes off. It's super funny when it goes off because you're going to have to be, all right, opponent, so that now this is happening. I never got to do this, is what you'll start the sentence with, right? And look at all this stuff just works, basically. I suppose Snake Eyes here doesn't just work, and Dirty Tricks don't just work, but the abilities themselves work. They at least sound fun. Yeah, we need to celebrate that. That's important. It's not all winning and being good. Otherwise, you wouldn't be playing Kruleboyz. And it's proper that their abilities should be geared towards making Dirty Tricks work. Because they kinda don't. And that's what your army's already built around, so you might as well make callbacks to it, right? 2d6 Orc Massage. He's getting more than a massage over here. He's taking some mortals. Also anti-hero rend, even for the things that aren't mortals. Yeah, it's just better. I don't think anyone could get worse when you add stuff to them. I suppose it's possible, but we haven't seen that happen yet. Anyway, good shit. 5 out of 7. Did they say what's coming tomorrow? They implied that tomorrow was, so humorous, as in the bone. That's bone. And the lettering is something called humorous braille. Anyway, we've already had SBGL, and we've already had FEC. And those are the other 2 bone-related armies. And so, by process of elimination, it must be that OBR is tomorrow. We haven't had SBGL? I thought we did. We've only had 7 days, and I already can't remember what we've had. Unbelievable. It can't be believed. I suppose I could just look, right? Cruel Cities. Oh, it was the pre-order thing. Okay, it was this thing. Nighthound. Another community showcase, but it wasn't technically at FEC. Yeah. So there was an SBGL right before the start of it, and then there was a showcase that wasn't technically part of it. And then there was another showcase that wasn't also technically part of it. I was just remembering all the SBGL pictures in between every single one of all 7 of these. So if it's quite humorous, meaning bone, then I guess it's either OBR or Soulblight G rods. What do you want to see for them? Which ones? OBR? A new war scroll for... Oh, I can't even pick 2. A new war scroll for Blendermen. Because putting them on damage 1 made them useless. And a new war scroll for Catacross to give him all of his flavor back that you stole from him. Those are the 2 war scrolls I would like to see. And as far as the rules are concerned, completely revert all rules to be the original release of OBR in 3rd. I don't know. I have a huge problem with OBR that I hope the players of the army don't. I don't know. Anything I see for OBR will be good, basically. Make Mortec great again? Yeah. Mortec Guard as well. Vokmortian is a great model. One day he'll come off the shelf. I don't think he will. Maybe he will. Look, if Vokmortian can someday come off the shelf, then maybe my Hunter can as well. It's SBGL because OBR are bespoke bone sculptures and therefore do not have a humorous bone, and also they're not supposed to be funny. And Soulblight, the Doot boys are kind of funny, so I think it is probably Soulblight. Now, what do I want to see for Soulblight? I don't know. They're kind of a grand alliance. There's too much in there. There's too many things in their book. Their book, they book too big for the goddamn army. I want to see a war scroll for Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon generic version, which I think they might be losing, right? Because it's just Prince Longdong, so I guess I want to see a generic hero version of that. And then if I have to choose one other war scroll, one of the monstrosity drow things, so they're not awful. Maybe Look of Eye, perhaps. Or one of the generic ones. New fell bats. Yeah, we need a 4th different bat. What would you like to see for Ogas? Leadbelcher War Scroll that makes them a shooting unit that is shooting cannons, right? Like what they look like. So brand new war scroll for Leadbelchers for sure. And the other war scroll, Tyrant. I think they both should be Gutbusters. Truly Leadbelchers and the Tyrant. The Tyrant should be exciting and fun, like you want to play him. But currently you don't want to play him. And that's sad for the leader of your faction. And Leadbelchers, because they're terrible, they're chaff. And they're carrying cannons, they should start acting like it. Mournfang War Scroll is fine, they just come in 2s, which kind of ruins it, and there's no support from the army for it in any way. But their War Scroll itself is fine. It doesn't like need fixing necessarily. It's everything else that needs fixing. For the Mournfang, anyway. So that's the War Scrolls I would choose. Is Leadbelchers for sure. And then Tyrant should feel like you want to play him for some reason. Instead of for stupid force organizational chart reasons, which is the worst reason to want to play anything. As far as like bonus rules and stuff, I don't know. There's too many potential options. I'm just thinking about War Scrolls, I guess.